Hi guys, it's Emily from Deadly Desires, and today I'm going to talk to you a bit about anxiety. Now, I've suffered with anxiety, we figured probably since I was about 5. It all started when my mum went away to Hong Kong to go see my dad, who's in the Navy, and me and my sister went to our grandparents, and I ended up with really bad separation anxiety then. And then when I was 9, I went to boarding school, and obviously that was a big haul. And when I first got there, I locked myself in the car because I wasn't going to stay there. And yeah, I'm sure my mum remembers that very well. And it did get better. I'm not saying that boarding school was a bad thing at all. I did have a good time there once I'd got to know people and things like that. But going there was very stressful. And then into my adult life, I've always had quite bad anxiety with panic attacks, and becoming kind of a bit of a hermit and staying in the house all the time. But yes, so that's a little bit about my anxiety. Personally, everyone just does have little kind of variations of it, of how it's come around and how it affects their life. But yeah, I wanted to tell you a little bit about that. So let's have a look at what anxiety actually is, and why people have anxiety, because everybody everywhere has anxiety. It's a chemical reaction that happens in your brain. It happens in the amygdala, which is kind of right in the centre of your brain, and that triggers the fight or flight response. So it releases a chemical called cortisol, which boosts your perception and your reflexes and your speed. It increases your heart rate, it pumps more blood to your muscles, it gets you to take deeper breaths so more air goes into your lungs, and basically gets you ready to deal with the threat. So everything goes into this panic stations. I might have to fight myself out of this, or I might have to run away. And that is what your body is preparing you for, even though it's not necessarily a reaction that is needed in most circumstances. Now, everybody does get this at some point. It might be that you're going on a first date, and you're feeling a bit anxious about meeting someone new, or you're going for a job interview, or I don't know, just a regular thing, going out and doing something new by yourself. Is what everybody will feel a little bit anxiety about. It's just a little knot in the stomach, and it's perfectly normal. The problem comes when it starts taking over your life, and it turns into an anxiety disorder, when this reaction from the amygdala happens for absolutely no reason, or for completely ridiculous reasons that are not reasons to be put in that fight or flight mode. So it's something that can set off. You can wake up in bed in the morning and just have this overwhelming fear and dread and feel sick, and then your heart starts racing, and then you start having a panic attack and you can't breathe, and it feels like you're having a heart attack, and it honestly feels like you're going to die, with no trigger whatsoever that you can put a finger on. And this is an anxiety disorder. So panic attacks aren't a normal part of the human anxiety. Panic attacks are when it's getting overloaded, and rather than when the situation has got better or the danger has passed, your body calms back down again. In the case of anxiety disorder, it takes an awful lot longer for it to calm back down again. So what can you do about anxiety? How can you cope with anxiety? Because you can't just have it ruining your life and leading your life for you, as I have pretty much for the last year. I've been signed off work because of my bipolar and anxiety disorder, and it's made it very, very difficult for me to do things like leaving the house, and talking to people. I can't pick up the telephone. If it rings, I feel actually sick, that someone's trying to talk to me, and I can't cope with it. Fortunately, my husband is amazing, and he deals with pretty much everything for me, and I don't know what I'd do without him, so love you, Matt. But I have done a lot of work over the last year, both in hospital and with my psychiatrist, and learnt lots of ways to start handling my anxiety, because it's never something that is going to go, boop, there we go, you don't suffer with anxiety anymore. You're always going to have it, and with an anxiety disorder, having that little feeling of anxiety is likely to snowball into something quite ridiculous. So the first way that I cope with my anxiety is through medication. It's not right for everyone, but that's what I need to help me day to day. And whilst my medication is prescribed, you don't have to go for prescription medication. There are lots of things like rescue remedy and calms, and things like that will just help lower that cortisol level being released, and give you a little bit of a calmer feeling. Obviously a little bit of a drop of rescue remedy isn't going to help, particularly when you're in a full-blown panic attack, but as soon as you start feeling those kind of signifiers coming through, you can start reacting to it earlier, and the earlier you react, the less likely it is to go into a full-blown panic attack. Well, we hope. The second way, which is probably the most successful way of dealing with anxiety, is meditation and concentrating on your breathing. And this does kind of sound a bit airy-fairy, and if you haven't tried it yet, it's really hard to go, oh yeah, well, if I just think myself out of it, I'll be better. But it does actually help a lot. So I'm just going to go through a quick breathing exercise with you. This is something that I use in my job. So I'm a horse riding instructor, and people are often scared when they're on the back of their horse, learning to do something new, which is completely normal. And so something that I teach them to do to bring down the anxiety levels so that they can concentrate and take their mind off of the thing that they're scared of and just get on and ride, is an exercise called 3 breath breathing. So you inhale and you do it in 3 parts, and then you exhale and you do that in 3 parts. So I'll just show you quickly. So we have a inhale, stop, inhale, stop, inhale, stop, exhale, exhale, exhale. And you just keep doing that, maybe 10 times, maybe 20 times, however long you need to do it, but really focus on nothing else but that breath, and really focus on that 1, 2, 3, and out, 2, 3. That's really going to slow down your lungs, which usually when you go into a panic attack are going to start hyperventilating. It gives your mind something to focus on rather than focusing on the fact that you're panicking, which is going to just make the panic worse. And yeah, it's just a brilliant way to get control of yourself when you don't feel like you have any control. all sorts of meditation. There's so many different types, and if you have a look through the rest of YouTube, there's loads of videos helping with meditation for different situations, and it's very much worth having a look into it. It might be that it helps if you have a little meditate 10 minutes every morning, and just give yourself a bit of inner peace and tell yourself that you're going to be strong and get on with the day and have a successful day. The next method, method number 3, is called gradual exposure. So it's if you are scared of a particular thing or a particular activity that you need to do. So say it's getting on public transport, which is something that I do struggle with a lot myself. So the idea of gradual exposure is that you do it really gradually, and you don't just go and stick yourself on a train and hope for the best. It's that you walk down to the train station with someone, and that's it. You just get to the train station, take a breath there, and off you go back home again. The next step might be getting down to the train station with a friend there and getting on a train and going one stop, and then getting the train back one stop and then going back home again. And then the next step might be going down to the train station by yourself. And so you see how it's building up and up and up until it gets to the point where you can go down to the station, get on a train and go to a different destination. For me, I can just about get on a train most of the time, but I have to have someone meet me at the other end, usually because it's in central London and I can't cope with big crowds and stuff. But it took me a long while to be able to get on a train by myself and get anywhere. So this gradual exposure really helped to build my confidence as I was doing the activity. Number 4 is talking therapies. So it's something that can be quite difficult to talk about, and it's difficult to find someone who you can talk about it with. But if you check out Mind, I'll pop the link down below. You'll see I talk about Mind a lot because they are brilliant. They've got people that you can talk to about anything to do with mental health. So that includes anxiety, and they'll be able to give you tips with how to deal with anxiety, and just offloading onto someone sometimes is the best thing you can do. Goal setting is really important for me. Each day I tend to have a set of goals that I want to tick off during the day. The most important thing about this is don't set too many goals, because that can cause even more anxiety if you feel like you can't complete that many goals. So maybe 2 or 3 a day that you feel confident that you can achieve. And the last one is a calming routine, something that helps you to feel calm. So in my case, I'm very lucky that my husband is very astute to my mental health, and he will notice when I'm not having a great time and will go and run me a bath. And so I'll get in the bath and I'll read a book, and then I'll stay in the bath for maybe an hour or 2. Like I really soak. I end up like a prune. But yes, doing that really helps to calm me down. Often with a little glass of wine, but you don't want to be relying on substances such as alcohol to help with your anxiety, because it can make it a lot worse. And then I'll get into clean, fresh pyjamas. I'll either sit on my bed and look at my emails, or look on Facebook, things like that, or play silly games, which really calms me down. Another thing that really calms me is crafting. So I do a lot of my work for my business when I'm feeling really rotten, as that can help give me a bit of focus. And jigsaws. I love jigsaws because I can really hyper focus and not listen to anything else in the outside world. So that's what works for me, but work something out that works for you, that helps you calm down and gives you a little bit of structure and gives you something to rely on, that you think, this, if I do this, I know that I will feel better. Okay, so that's a bit about my anxiety, a bit about how I deal with my anxiety, and I hope that it can help some of you to get over your anxiety as well, and just live a better life with anxiety. Okay. Oh, as always, wearing Deadly Desires headpiece with the little cute horns, and I've got one of the feather hippie hair clips in. So yeah, if you like my headdress and hair clips, pop onto my professional Facebook page, which again I'll pop the link down here, and you can check those out and potentially buy them. Okay, so thank you everyone, and lots of love. Bye.